2 November 2016. Please stand by. Mic check. 2 November 2016. Please stand by. Mic check. 2 November 2016. Mic check number 2. Check. 2 November 2016. Mic check number 2. Check. Check, check, position 1. Check, check, position 3. Check, position 1. Check, check, position 3. Check, position 1. All right. Looks like it. Okay, well, it's the 2nd of November 2016, which no doubt you have, as I've mentioned it a couple of times. Oh, excuse me for the yawn, but it's like 8 o'clock, 8:11 in the morning. It's dark and dank and raining and grey and really not a. It's a lovely day actually. I like it because it's not hot, and if it's not hot, it's my kind of weather. Anyway, good morning. Second cup of coffee of the day. Who is Vince Foster? Well, I remember back in the 90s, the Vince Foster in the news, and it kind of kept on dangling there. It was there, Vince Foster, Clinton got stronger, Vince Foster sort of just got forgotten. But I remember it as being a question mark at the time, and it's never really left. I never ever heard of Larry Nichols until quite recently, actually, through Infowars. But as it turns out, he seems to have a lot of information. He used to be an insider security guy or something. So I was listening to actually a short video about on Infowars. Provided by interview, I guess, provided by Larry Nichols. So it got the question of Vince Foster, of course, came up because it was pretty much about Vince Foster, and I want to find out a little bit more about what's going on, because Hillary, pro-woman, Trump is a anti-woman, and this, that, and the other. Plus that case with Kathy Shelton, which was her first. She prosecuted against Kathy Shelton. Who was no, she defended against Kathy Shelton, I think, who had accused somebody of brutal, violent rape. Anyway, she got him off on a technicality, despite the fact that the defendant was obviously guilty, despite the fact that this little girl, 12 years old, was wrecked, maimed. Despite all that, Hillary Clinton gloated over her victory, because it was her first victory as a lawyer or whatever. So she's a cunt, actually. That was the first. That was number one. Hillary's a cunt. Hates women. Doesn't give a shit about anyone. Women, man. She's like a psychopath. Psychopathic Hillary. That's what I think. So I watched the documentary, and I do want to play it for you guys. You're welcome to join the hangout anytime. Remember, there's rules. If your documentary's playing, or if anything's playing and you do join, just please watch along until the moment comes when I can introduce you, or if I'm not even here, you can just, at the right time say hi or whatever. This is my first broadcast since publishing those four rules. And like I said, Robert's Rules of Order will always win. Now, how come I'm seeing it the right way around? Doesn't matter. I don't care. Right. So, anytime you'd like to pop in and say, and join in the hangout, watch the chat, whatever, you're welcome. But please respect. Oops, what have I done there? Please respect the proceedings. So I'm gonna bring in Larry Nichols now. Okay. This is unfortunately, it's fairly long. It's 32 minutes. It's probably a good idea to play the whole thing through, because even though right at the end he sums it up very well, it's a good build-up. And it lays out a lot of the bare facts. So let me see if I can just set this up in such a way that we can all see it and stuff, but still see if there's anything else happening. Hello, look, I'm not even moving. Look at me. Woo! Let's see. Let's something like this. Something like that, maybe. How about this? Wee! Oops. Wee! Hello! I'm on TV. Alright, silly. Alright, now I gotta get rid of that and figure out where I was. Doop. Right over here. Okay. Right, so I guess we could start watching and bring her up again. I don't need to be on, but Hillary does. So let me get it happening for you.
I was there at the beginning, inside the Clinton machine. I saw it all happen, from the corrupt to the absolutely corrupt. And that's when I thought about my father, who was dying of lung cancer, and what he would do if he knew the man I'd become. And then I thought about my daughter. What if the cocaine they were bringing in was to end up getting used by her? I hit my knees that day and asked God to forgive me. I wasn't a good person. I worked in special operations, Central America, South America. I did a lot of bad things. But I hit the bottom that day and said I was going to make up for it. And now, I just want to see these criminals brought to justice and get their just due. Not made president, but put where they belong, in jail. One thing about Hillary, Bill was just a good timing guy. But Hillary, she's an animal. Hillary is the one that I promise you, she pulls the strings. She pulled them in Arkansas. She pulled them in the White House when she was there as the First Lady. And my God, if she gets to be president, what you see out here now is going to change. We thought it changed with Obama. There's nothing compared to what's going to happen with Hillary. And I tell you right now, I will stop Hillary.
We've gone further than anybody we know of, and that's all we're going to say. And people can ask us 100 different ways and from 100 different directions. And we're just going to leave the ultimate decision up to the American people.
I really just want everybody to take a deep breath and relax and just, sit back, because here they come again. We're going to have to just ride through this as we have so many of these other false accusations.
Let me get the air clear about this. The email scandal, I believe, was brought out by the Clintons.
Now, I would be pleased to talk more about this important matter, but I know there have been questions about my emails, so I want to address that directly, and then I will take a few questions from you.
You see, we knew running for election, you never want to run as the anointed one. You always want to run as the underdog. Now, it's kind of hard when you're building Hillary Clinton with all the hoopla and who they are now. How do you get to be the underdog? If you look at the email scandal, where did the email scandal come from? The New York Times. The New York Times has never been anything but a PR firm for the Clintons. Even if they had it, there is no way the New York Times would have broke a story about Hillary that could do damage to her. But look what she's done. They have used the email scandal to catapult them into an underdog status. Now, as we get closer to the election, when you get through the primary and you get into the general election, I can tell you, New York Times, read my lips. Go ahead and write the article. It's probably already written. Right when they get into the general election, you know what they're going to say? They're going to say, oh, we've checked all this out, and it turns out there was nothing to it. That's what's going to happen. It's all used to stage Hillary. Now, if you don't believe me, remember when Hillary ran against Barack Hussein Obama. She should have used our system then, but she didn't. She came in and she was the anointed one, and he whooped her. She's not making that mistake this time. And by the way, if you notice, Hillary's also done the other thing you have to do at the formative stage of a campaign. She's going around, she's sucked up all of the money that's out there. So anybody tries to run against her, I hear people ask me, what do you think about Biden? I don't think about anybody. What are they going to run against her with? They have already laid claim to the money.
Once the American public begins to see the emails, they will have an unprecedented insight into a high government official's daily communications, which I think will be quite interesting. You may have seen that I recently launched a Snapchat account. Those messages disappear all by themselves.
You see, when Hillary gets in office within 6 months, according to the plan we wrote back in 1986, literally there's a plan called the 86 plan, and it's where we finalized and put everything down. Within 6 months, she will make Bill ambassador to the UN. When Bill gets to be ambassador to the UN, it won't be 6 months then, because of the Clinton Foundation, what they've used the Clinton Foundation for. It won't be 6 months until he's made Secretary General of the UN. Now, can you imagine the power Bill and Hillary have? I mean, they will have achieved more power than any couple in the history of the world when they pull that stunt.
On January 20th, 1993, William Jefferson Clinton became the 42nd President of the United States. At the time, most Americans were not aware of the extent of Clinton's criminal background, nor were they aware of the media blackout, which kept this information from the public. As State Attorney General and later Governor, Bill Clinton in 12 years achieved absolute control over the political, legal, and financial systems of Arkansas. As president, he would attempt to do the same with the nation by bringing members of his inner circle with him to Washington. The hijacking of America was underway, and its impact on future generations would be incalculable.
It was years ago when I was picked up by a man named Mr. Whit Stevens. And Mr. Whit was the brother to Jackson Stevens, and they were the kingmakers in Arkansas. So they called me one day and said, we need to meet with you, and I met with them, and they said, we need you to take a look-see at a guy that we think we can make governor, and we want him to be the youngest governor in the history of the country. So I agreed, and then that's when I met Bill. When I met with him, it was kind of weird because I was talking to him and he was chasing after the waitresses. And I would try to get his focus, and all he would do is just chase after the waitress, just watch, man, I want some of that, man, I want some of that, and it just went on and on and on. And finally to the point where I had actually gotten a little bit perturbed about it and said, man, we got to figure this out. Oh, yeah. And he was Attorney General at the time. And so I went back the next day to Mr. Witt and told him what I thought. I said, Mr. Witt, this guy is a sexual predator. He's not just a womanizer. I mean, I'm telling you, this guy's sick. And he's a pathological liar. I mean, and I told Mr. Witt I couldn't even make him tell the truth. And when it came to something he could tell the truth on that would be harmless to him, he still couldn't tell it. Well, Mr. Witt said, you can break him of that. We'll have a talk. So I figured, what the heck. Couple, 3 weeks passed. They met with Bill. Apparently they got everything worked out the way they wanted it. And he was in the game running for governor.
Tonight, I ask all of you who have stood with me. I ask my opponents and those who have fought with them in their hard-fought campaign. I ask those who have believed in me and those who have doubted to join with me in common purpose. Let us put aside our fears for our hopes. Let us trust each other and work to forge a future that will enrich the lives of our people, a future that will strengthen our traditions and our faith, a future that will make us proud that in our time we We gave our best. God bless you all, and thank you very much.
No, they didn't tell me anything about it. They didn't say anything to me about it. The airport in question, a matter for federal jurisdiction. State really had next to nothing to do with it. We had nothing, zero, to do with it, and everybody who's ever looked into it knows that.
Your president of the United States, not only was a part of the system that was laundering millions of cocaine dollars, your president signed off on it. You can't deny that he did. You see, because of that, there's one little catch. Every loan that Adler made, Bill Clinton himself had to sign off on it. More than Bill Clinton, you better identify the people in the loop of the drug running. You better identify the people in the loop for money laundering. And what you'll find there is those people go straight to Washington. Act 1062, if you look at it, it says that ADFA was developed and created to provide low-interest bond loans for churches, schools, colleges. So look what happened to our legislature. They voted on the bill creating ADFA, thinking that they were getting money to colleges and schools to buy books and so forth. What better way to run thousands of tens of millions of dollars, launder it, clean it up, and use the cover of a state agency to do it. When Oliver North, Poindexter, and those guys got KO'd, knocked out of the box because of Iran-Contra, I was asked to come down and help, and I did. I had to cut loose from there. It got bad. There was something happened with a little girl and her mother that I don't want to go over, but it fried my brain, and it was time to quit. My family said that why didn't I get in touch with my buddy Bill Clinton and get a job with the state and get out of that racket. I called Bill, and Bill said, "You bet, we've got a place for you." And he brought me on to this agency called the Arkansas Development Finance Authority. Now, as much as I had involvement with state government, I had never heard of that agency. And I was surprised to find out that its mission statement was that it would make low-interest bond loans to churches, schools, libraries, which was kind of odd because it also made loans to industry. Well, the problem with that was we already had an Arkansas Industrial Development Commission, and it was duplicating the work. What I found after about a couple of weeks of being there is it was strictly there for Friends of Bill. We didn't loan money to churches. We didn't make low-interest bond loans to schools. We made low-interest bond loans to Friends of Bill.
Jennifer Flowers, in a tabloid interview for which she was paid, says she carried on a long-term affair with Governor Clinton from the late 1970s through the end of 1989. Are you prepared tonight to say that you've never had an extramarital affair?
I'm not prepared tonight to say that any married couple should ever discuss that with anyone but themselves.
Quapaw Towers is the place where Jennifer Flowers had an apartment. Anybody in power in Arkansas knew Bill with his girlfriends and all that, but nobody would dare talk about it. I filed a lawsuit, and I brought them out. I named them. One of the women was Jennifer Flowers. Well, as was the day, Clintons controlled the media here. They wouldn't touch anything. I had a big press conference on the steps of the Capitol. All the media in the state was there. I walked all the way down the hall. They got it. They videoed me walking to the hall. Go to Bill's office, throw the lawsuit across his desk. Pretty dramatic, I might say. Nobody covered it. Nobody.
Eventually, every allegation stemming from Nichols' 1990 lawsuit and press conference would prove valid regarding Clinton's sexual liaisons, his drug usage, and his criminal activities relating to ADFA and Whitewater. Gradually, the women who had carried on adulterous affairs with Clinton began to emerge. Betsy Wright, Clinton's former chief of staff, admitted she had been hired to conduct media smear campaigns against anyone planning to tell the truth about the governor's sexual habits. She was prepared to go after at least 26 women who had the potential of destroying Clinton's chance at the presidency.
During the 1992 presidential campaign, I was getting bludgeoned by the media because Jennifer Flowers had come out of my lawsuit. A man called me on the phone on a Monday. His name was Gary Johnson. He was an attorney. He told me that he felt bad because I was being bludgeoned, and he wanted to talk to me about handling my case. Well, I was craving an attorney, any attorney, to help me.
You know, I saw Larry out there doing battle, so to speak, on his own, and I felt like he needed some help.
I met him on a Tuesday. He was a special attorney. I didn't even know it. You see, he lived next door to Jennifer Flowers.
He told me that he had bought a bicycle and there was a lot of theft in and up and down the halls of the apartment complex. So he put a camera so he could watch his bicycle. Guess what he caught on camera? He caught Bill Clinton going in and out of Jennifer's apartment with a key. Well, so he knew I was telling the truth about the womanizer. He certainly knew I was telling the truth about Jennifer. So I said, great. I said, you can get on board, but I warned him. I said, Gary, you got to be careful. He said, oh, nothing's going to happen to me. I'm not scared of it. There was a Friday that we were supposed to meet, and I called. He didn't answer. Well, I called his office all day. He didn't answer. His office hadn't heard from him. That Saturday, we went to his apartment and found him. He had been bludgeoned. He had been beat horribly, and he had literally been left for dead. What was significant about the beating he took, the licks that he took were specific. For example, they hit him in just such a way, military hand-to-hand, hit him in such a way that they ruptured his spleen. They did all kinds of things that would kill you. We found him, got him to the hospital. He made it. But to this day, to my knowledge, he's still just half insane. It scared him so bad that for a while, I don't know if he still is, but for a while, he literally was in a mental institution. It scared him so bad. So that's the importance of Quapaw Towers. That's where it all began. Now what's the story nobody really knows? You know, guys, when Bill Clinton was in that first race, when I did Jennifer Flowers, Bill was running like 7th or 8th. I mean, he couldn't get any traction whatsoever. When Jennifer's story broke, in all the frenzy about that, he jumped up to number 2. So in a way, my trying to get him backfired in my face. And instead of getting him, I elevated him, and the rest is history. Now, remember, I got him to number 2, but because of all of the womanizing stuff, people started doing what they're going to do for Hillary. You see, they're playing this right. Hillary's not saying anything about it. She's letting her numbers go down, because if you're going to win, you got to run. If you're at Clinton and you want to win, you've got to run to a position of being an underdog. Because everybody loves an underdog, right? Well, how if you're Clinton, you get to be an underdog when you've got somebody like Bernie Sanders running against you?
Hello.
It just doesn't compute, right? Socialist, I mean, there's no way.
Hey,
but now I think you'll understand why this Benghazi stuff was released by...
Oh, sorry, no, you don't have to stop it for me.
Do you get it?
It's okay.
No.
Alright, it's almost done. I haven't
Damn, no.
I'll tell you a couple of stories about fraud.
To do that, you know.
The Bohemian Club. As you say, the Bohemian Club? That's where all those rich Republicans go up and stand naked against redwood trees, right? I've never been to the Bohemian Club, but you ought to go. It'd be good for you. Get some fresh air.
I know nothing about the Bohemian Grove with Bill. I know about once a month Hillary would go out to Los Angeles. And she did it so regular that it became a bit of an issue trying to, why is she always going? Bill told me that she was going out there, she and a group of women, and she would be a part of a witch's church. And when Bill told me that, you could have hit me with a baseball bat. I tried to point out to him, you realize what had happened if that got out? Of course, my job was to make sure it didn't get out. Now, I don't know today if Hillary still partakes in the witch ritual. I don't know that I even know what the ritual was. But for the better part of many years, Hillary would go quite often, whether it was regularly once a month or maybe once every couple of months. She would go out on the weekend simply to be a part of it.
The great story here for anybody willing to find it and write about it and explain it is this vast right-wing conspiracy that has been conspiring against my husband since the day he announced for president.
You know, it's so sad that when something tragic happens that people, maybe out of a desperate attempt to make sense of the world, try to create conspiracies and, you know, act paranoid and all that. But some of it is not explainable except for people who just want to cause trouble.
You let it rub off you.
Yeah, you have to.
Rose Law Firm. How do I put it into words? When Bill became governor, I believe the paycheck for the governor was $28,000 a year. Hardly the kind of money that would get you up into the higher earning bracket. Hillary went to the Rose Law Firm. She, Webb Hubbell, Vince Foster, they went there because that gave Hillary, once again, it gave her a vehicle that she could use. By Bill being governor, Rose Law Firm being the lobbyist for all types of major industry, which Hillary would facilitate, they made a fortune.
You know, Tom and Bill have a lot in common. They both have wives who support them in these efforts that they are engaged in, both emotionally and financially, I might add.
The money went to Hillary, not to Bill. So when you try to check out Bill and say, well, gosh, he made a fortune when he was governor, certainly made more than $20-something thousand, that's how they did it. They did it through Hillary and the Rose Law Firm. Got them everything they wanted.
The people we are fighting today, we funded 20 years ago.
We came, we saw, he died.
Genetically modified sounds Frankensteinish. Drought resistance sounds really something you want.
We cannot let a minority of people, and that's what it is. It is a minority of people hold a viewpoint that terrorizes the majority of people.
We are in an information war, and we are losing that war. It's no secret that we're going up against some pretty powerful forces that will do and spend whatever it takes to advance a very different vision for America.
The best way to stop Hillary, let me tell you, there's only one way to stop Hillary. You know, it's not going to be Benghazi. It's not going to be the email scandal. I don't think that'll hurt her. The information I've got that has to do with Vince Foster will carry the day in the end. If Hillary is to be stopped at all, that's what's got to do it. That's why they consider me such a threat. Remember, Bill said it, that, you know, some reporter asked him who was the worst enemy of the Clintons. He said Larry Nichols in so many words and stuff. There's a reason he says that, because I'm holding the actual files.
From the outset, the investigation into the death of Vince Foster has been marred by controversy. At Bill Clinton and Attorney General Janet Reno's insistence, responsibility for the investigation was turned over to the Park Police, even though Foster's death fell within the jurisdiction of the FBI. Not until his death had sufficiently developed into a full-fledged scandal 7 months later would the FBI be allowed in. The results of the FBI's investigation, along with the findings of the Park Police and coroner, were incorporated into a report issued by Special Counsel Robert Fisk. The report, released June 30th, 1994, confirmed suicide as the cause of death. However, a careful examination of key pieces of evidence taken directly from the report itself indicate a number of alarming contradictions inconsistent with the report's own conclusion that Foster took his life. The official coroner's report depicts a large gaping 1-inch exit wound located 3 inches below the crown of Foster's head. According to Fisk, the area surrounding the body at the park was meticulously searched to a depth of 18 inches, but no brain tissue or skull fragments were found. An FBI analysis found none of Foster's fingerprints on the gun, despite the fact the gun was found in Foster's hand. However, the FBI did make one extraordinary discovery. One latent fingerprint was visible on the underside of the right pistol grip, approximately 2 inches from the base of the grip. This print did not belong to Foster. No attempt was made to determine the identity of the person whose print was found in the gun's hand grip.
There's another story that you have, which is the Secret Service memo. Now that's where the Park Police officially notified the White House Secret Service that they had found the body of Vincent Foster. And that version, they say they found him in his car in the parking lot of Fort Marcy Park. And it went so far as to say a .38 caliber revolver was found in the car with him. It went into detail saying that there was a 6-pack of Bartle and James wine coolers in the front seat. One that had been opened and he drank it, the others hadn't been opened. It said his briefcase was in the back seat. It's in detail. That story, she can't run away from. And I know people say, well, good God, Larry, that's Vince Foster, that's old news. No, that's a death. Statute of limitations does not exist for that case. I'm not saying Bill and Hillary killed him. I'm not saying they had him killed. I don't know. I truly do not know. But what I do know is they moved that body. They moved his body. Then you have to ask why. Why did they move his body? Because where he died would have been under the D.C., Washington, D.C. police. And had that have been discovered, something would have come out. And that would have been the mitigating circumstances. And that circumstance would have been that Vince and Hillary had a long-standing affair. If that story had come out with the death of Vince Foster, that Hillary was the first lady in American history to be caught having an affair on a president, I assure you, gentlemen, Hillary wouldn't be running for president today.
That is why I am running for President of the United States.
The people want to know Hillary. The Hillary that I knew back here in Arkansas. When she was in the Benghazi hearings, when she said, "What difference does it make? They're dead."
What difference at this point does it make?
That's the Hillary I know. And that's the Hillary that we don't want to unleash on America. You know, I don't care about their little things they do. I don't care about who they sleep with, what they slept with. What I care about is our country and what's going to happen to my grandbabies. therefore I'm bound, honor bound, as I know Alex is, to try and stop it. That's what we're going to do, one way or the other. We will stop it. You know, we're incredibly close to losing our country, incredibly, and it's more than just Hillary. It's the Congress becoming traitors, turning us. You know, Washington is just a cesspool of traitors. That's why I have a plan that I plan to introduce, and basically the short version of it, states' rights. Washington has no power at all. It ain't got the power to do any of the stuff it's doing unless we, through our states, exceed that power to them. Where I stand, where you stand, that's the ground you protect, right there. Don't let Washington come get it. Don't let Washington come get it. You take care of it. It's right there in front of you. Say this is mine and you can't take it. If we do that, we'll be all right. If we don't, generations to come will never see what we've had. Never. That's my story, and I guess I'm sticking to it.
Well, what do you think of that? Let me just get everybody back. Yes. There you go. Hello.
Hello.
And where the hell am I? There I am. Somewhere. Just give me one moment. Are you watching this on the Hangout window or on YouTube?
Oh, sorry, Sydney. What did you say again?
Oh, I was just wondering if you were watching this on the Hangout window or on YouTube.
Oh, I was just listening to the audio.
On the YouTube channel or just?
I think it's the YouTube channel. You'll have to.
No, that's perfect. No, that's good. That's the best way.
Yeah, my brain is get kicked into gear. I might have to. Connect to plugs to the side of me temple and kickstart my brain.
Yeah, not a bad idea. What you do? Use a cup of coffee for a battery. and that should do it. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Oh dear. I have to. Yeah, that sounds an even better idea. There's some caffeine flowing. Anyway, your good self.
All right.
Excellent. I've watched some of your other hangouts and been watching hangouts when Tom Arter's been in, and I watched that one where you put the title of it. This is an expert on how to pay bills. And stuff like that. You see, you'll get like people that are thinking, I might this Tom Arter and end up where that person or whoever's going to think, I might follow this Tom Arter to know what he's on about, and then that poor person end up being in. Then it's worse.
Right. It's not.
Because I mean, me, I do pay my bills. I mean, I must admit, I once got difficulty, And what I did was phone up this particular company and told them, oh, I can pay so much, pay this amount. And we came to some arrangement, and I like stuck to it. Our arrangement and our agreement with this company.
Mm-hmm.
And also as well, like people will like bury the head in the sand. Right. Regarding bills and things like to pay and things like that. I mean, if you do own these comes up and tell them 9 times out of 10, if you can both come to some like kind of a payment arrangement, then there will be more than happy.
Yeah, no doubt. So that's the kind of advice that he should have given in the tape, right? In his video.
Exactly. You see, like to like that, and like put it that, and then they'll get sort of more. I mean, there's a few like this guy called Mark Ceylon. He's sort of this is those. I nearly got that and things like that, and then and it says always and all this lot, and then put a notice saying, "Oh, right access," when really in law no such thing as an implied right of access. There's no such thing. People put in a notice in the window and things like that. And what like that annoys me, and also what annoys me is when people use children as shields. Mm-hmm. And that, I mean, again, if you're going to pay a sort of bill, yeah, and as I say, 9 times out of 10, if you want to, if you both can come to some sort of payment arrangement, and you stick to the payment arrangement, it's fine.
Right. It's the honest way. It's a win-win for everybody, as opposed to the alternative, right?
Definitely. Yeah, most definitely.
And it's the ethical thing to do.
Exactly. I mean, it's like when these people protest. I mean, protest is to protest and concentrations and that. Protest is to sort of thing. I mean, some videos like that guy here in the UK in Nottingham, I called. I mean, like it was foolish. And what I did, an honest mortgage, blah. Basically, it was like it was living cheaper than if you was in a sort of a rented property. But anyway, in the end, he did get his comeuppance in the end. And now there's these got people coming down supporting Tom Crawford, and I didn't support at all. and this put this area, and it was full of like sort of elderly residents, and they were frightened because most of them were wearing these anonymous masks. Now that is disgusting, because I mean, like there were these elderly people scared out of the wits. I mean, that could have caused someone could have had an heart attack, the shock of these mindless sort of idiots, and some of them went upon the roof, and that was called rooftop 6, and some of them, most of it, so was on their views and everything. I mean, again, it's like with it's like people treat these bailiffs. I mean, you know, they've do what they've got to do. I mean, no use in like was in controversy and that, and being aggressive towards some of these the bailiffs. New name for them now, and I can't remember what the new name is. I'll have to do what you told me to do and charge me ready. But yeah, I mean, it's just I don't know. I just think it's all silly, really, where they'll stop these bailiffs coming into the property and things like that. If these people in that sort of came up again, it goes back. If they came up to some arrangement, none of this
we have a lag, quite a big lag, it looks like.
I shall keep quiet now. But
It's okay. It's okay. It's not your problem. It's not your fault.
But yeah, and I've seen some of your hangouts as well, and it's some of your hangouts. It's been really interesting, and I like that one where I liked a couple of them too as well. I like quite a lot of them. I like that one where the title is having a chinwag with my part 1 and 2. And they were
my English mates,
right? They were both good. It was really heated.
Yeah.
Heated.
Well, you know how the English are. The English and the Scottish, bless them, eh?
And even I thought, right, because it's really going to each other, and I thought, whoa. Well, yeah.
I feel kind of more home with the British, because being a colonial, I had that British kind of indoctrination. The Queen, you know, and all that.
Yeah.
My father didn't like the idea of a monarchy whatsoever. Hated it. He had no reason for there to be a queen. But me, I've never really had a problem with it. You know, there's a cost.
Yeah.
There's a cost to tradition. There's a cost to culture. That's what it is. Right?
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Did you vote for Brexit?
Yes, I did.
To leave or to remain?
I voted.
You voted to leave?
And of course,
Okay.
few people would say, "Oh, the leavers, most modern leavers because of Sarah." Things like that.
Do you follow the football at all? You still in here? Oh, you froze up, didn't you? Oh, it's just a lag, huge lag. Have you ever met Bunto Skiffler, Lee? Let me tell you, a friend of mine from internet, but he's crazy. He's one of these. He's one of these people with blinders on. Hey, said Tommy.
Yeah, what's up, everybody?
You just saved Bunto Skiffler from being roasted by me.
Oh, good.
Oh, there he is. Oh, she tells it. Hey, good morning. The finger of friendship, I guess.
Yes, there it is. Finger food.
Were you playing that?
Yeah, did you watch it?
No, I'm watching Tom Leeds. Did you see I put it in the outside chat? Hello, Tommy.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, I've got some gossip for you, Bunto.
Secular TV.
I got
All
some,
right.
Yeah. Let me know when you want it. I got a nice some guy. Brojo said he'd go New York on my ass, man. He threatened me. Ooh, he threatened me. Ooh.
Why?
Yeah, Brojo threatened St. Tommy. Yes. Ooh.
Why did he threaten you?
I think I got on his nerves. You
Something
think?
about Carvel ice cream?
I don't know. I guess.
Who
I think it might be because of my habitual verbosity.
Oh, Tom.
I know I'm a nerd.
By now.
God damn, man. You really gonna go say I'm sorry, what's that?
Habitual verbosity?
Verbosity.
Okay.
Ebullient.
Well, Brojo's actually allowed. He's already been added, so he could come in anytime he likes.
Oh, good. He's gonna go New York on me, man.
Come on, Brojo, get in here.
And then, man, he's done outed me, man. He outed me.
Oh,
that's right. No. I've been in the closet about some things. I don't say everything publicly. And Brojo be outing a man, below the belt and shit. Going to New York on me. He's going to New York.
Oh, it's horrible.
I don't know.
I know. Is that Lee?
That's Lee.
Sorry, it's most certainly is.
Cheerio, mate.
He's got like
Up
about
some
a
morning,
5-minute
Brexit
lag.
and all that.
I like Lee. He's pretty cool. My Lee.
Lee Enfield.
Lee Staton.
Smelly.
I love very old bridges, and Lee has an affinity for very old bridges too, man. So we're tight.
Here's Brojo. Oh, this is a live hangout?
Yeah.
Oh, and Tom Rabbit hang.
Is this live?
Yeah.
No, I'd misread it.
Well, you said you were watching it on YouTube. Obviously, it's live. Right, Lee?
Yep.
Yeah,
but I don't know what's happened before. Suddenly all.
Oh, I invited Brojo, but he's He's quite conveniently listening to somebody else's hangout.
Oh, little bro Joe. Oh,
yeah, well,
too busy.
Luckily, I mean, if nobody else was having a hangout, I'm sure he'd be in here, but he's listening.
Well, he's got,
Tom
a
Rabbit Hang.
A little St. Tommy goes a long way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I hate that I'm getting on his nerves, and that's understandable.
Well, no, it's not. I don't understand. I understand nothing, or no reason for you to get on his nerves, because I don't see where there's anywhere you'd.
Tommy, money talks, bullshit walks, man.
What does that mean? Tell me,
man.
What now?
Offer him like 5 bones to listen to you for about, I don't know, 2 days.
That's a good point. So what if he don't like me and he goes to lyrics and says, Tommy's fucked up, man.
Man.
Go and see him like he's fucked up.
What a drama fest.
I know, it's a drama fest. And you know me, man. I'm a closet drama baby. Oh, yeah.
Well, so what? Like, if this is a drama. I mean, the internet, they should definitely have called it something else and not the internet. They should have called it the drama net.
The drama net.
With a military application.
I lived in New York. If somebody if somebody says they're going to go New York on me, I remember the experiences I had in New York with Italian mafioso made men type. Oh. Yeah, I remember, man.
I remember I was more fearful of walking through the Bronx than I was through Harlem when I was in New York. But and Tommy, I knew people there that did not pay any rent and lived on the island. I mean, they were that much of an operator, man. They just freaking lived there. Yeah. They didn't pay nothing. They lived in some apartment somewhere.
New York's like that, man. They got strange laws in New York about apartments and condos and things. Property rights are strange. You can buy a lease and then you pay a bonus when you buy the lease. But once you buy the lease, it's low. It's like $300 a month for a great big pad, but you got to pay a big bonus to buy it. It's good structure. It works.
I love New York. It's very organized. It's friendly. I didn't really have any trouble with crime. I mean, I was walking around at night fine.
Were you like in the lower west side somewhere?
Oh, no. Well, yeah. Go to Tribeca. Go to the east side, too. Walk in the Midtown. I saw, like, Private Ryan. Like, when it came out, man, I must have seen that movie like 3 or 4 times. Just fucking going to the midnight showing.
Come on. It was 10 times. Come on, buddy.
About 3 times. In Times Square.
No shot.
But man, I love New York City.
I always lived below. I always lived in southern Manhattan around Canal Street. I never made it above 42nd Street. Once or twice up in the 50s, I'd go and hang out, but usually just, The
Empire State Building's on 35, right?
Soho. Beg your pardon?
Empire State Building's like on 35, right? Around there.
Is it 35th? Okay.
Somewhere on there. And then I know, the reason I bring that up is because I know Canal Street is like Asian. I remember definitely the Asian presence. And then I also remember going up around the Empire State Building. Around there, they got some Korean action there or something. Asian.
Well, man, on Canal Street, I went down this little hallway, and it kept going and going and going. Little shopkeepers on the right and the left.
Right.
This little hallway, and it went forever. And the farther I got back in there, the more Asian it got.
Like, it's like every little nook in that New York City is a store, man. Some use.
It was wild.
I don't know. What's Vancouver like? Is Vancouver like that, Sid, where it's happening?
I'm not sure.
And also, Tommy, it was in New York City where I really first saw my first junkies. Because, like, we took dope in high school, but these people in New York were junkies, strung the shit out.
Tragic. Junkie advanced junkies, man.
Right, man. Fucking.
I've stepped over people laying in the gutter covered with God knows what.
Oh,
I know.
We have those.
Get out of a fucking limo and step over them to go into a restaurant for a $50 breakfast.
Well, how long ago was that? Because that
was many years ago, but it blew my mind. The $50 breakfast blew my mind. The guy in the gutter blew my mind. It was just like a mind bender.
Why are all communities the same? They have the same range of the lowest of the low to the richest of the rich. Like,
it's just how we are.
Every single community, every single city, you can look in the gutters and you'll see people, and you can look in the penthouses and you'll see people.
People got to go somewhere, you know.
That's a good hangout right there, talking about that.
Yeah, well, you know,
I've got limited experience with both of those things. The gutter.
Put that on the to-do list, on the action list.
Well, you know what, Tom? I remember this is like New York, just New York memories. Like, if you closed your eyes on the train, you could not tell if that car was full or it was empty. That's how quiet the people were on the car. You know that experience of like,
oh yeah,
wow, there's nobody making a noise on the car. It could be full or it could be empty. You know.
Remember those little bells with the door, whatever. Yeah. The door.
And I remember seeing like an Asian girl with the most perfect skin. She looked like a porcelain doll, man. I wanted to like get right up in her face and look at her. It was like, God, is that a real person?
Wow. Bunto in Love, 1997.
New York memories.
Yeah, I know, man. Couldn't help it. Man, I tell you, it wasn't trippy.
That's a young person's town, man. If you're young, that town is for you.
A lot of money, you know.
Right, money. God, Tommy, shit. The money, holy shit, dude. Whoa.
Have you ever seen, what is that movie? The Thomas Crown Affair?
Well, the first one or the second one?
There's a couple of them. There's a couple of them. The latest one with the hot chick in it. I can't remember.
No, I gotta watch it.
It's good. It's worth looking at. One of the themes is opulence.
Opulence.
Yeah.
Conspicuous consumption.
What it's like, you know, the rich suffer. They do. And that movie in some ways touches on opulence and the liberty of the rich and how the rich suffer regardless of their liberty and regardless of their richness. They aren't inoculated from, you know, the tragedies of.
What I remember, I'm trying to help me with this, but there's Madison Avenue, right? And there's another street right next to Madison that's just, you know, these people have money, man.
Yeah. That's a mind bender, man.
Okay, Rockefeller Center, right?
Yeah, 42nd Street, isn't it?
And then I just remember I had to do some work on Madison Avenue, and it was like, fuck.
Bunto hits New York. Look out, world.
Would you go back?
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, it's good to have a peaceful spot when you're there. I found it lonely, you know, like rivers of people, but, you know, if you don't know them, you know, it's hard to hang out with them, but
there's good people there. I love New York.
For a little while. It's hard living though, man. It's a hard place to live, hard place to eat. All kinds of exotic food, but you know, I like kind of basic food.
Yeah.
When I was there, anyway, yeah.
I guess when you're a hick, you get there and then you're first shocked, you're scared shitless, and then it grows on you.
Oh yeah.
I guess you get used to it.
Man, when I was 14, man, I'd go roaming New York. More evidence that there is a God, you know, that I was not consumed, you know. But I was fast, so, and a wily little fucker, boy. I'd scoot right
That is a young person's town, man.
Oh, yeah, man. Wandering around in southern Manhattan, South Manhattan at 14. Damn, what was my dad thinking, man? Jesus.
Just going to that museum, the Natural History Museum, is fucking a dream come true for a kid, man.
I'd go at New York Public Library and hang out there. Go to the
fucking mines.
You know, chill out, play harmonica, act like I was Bob Dylan, that kind of shit. I had a great time. Yeah.
Anyway, so what else? So Bro Joe freaking flipped out on you at the Halloween fest, or what?
I've been getting on his nerves for a few weeks, and now he has anti-St. Tommy vision. What can you do? You know, I didn't think he'd sink this low, though. I didn't think he'd go this low.
But whoa, what do you mean by that?
Well, you know, I trust Derek. He knows I smoke weed on occasion. No big deal. Nobody gives a shit.
Right.
He knows some of my personal habits, or You know, I'm not a master debater or nothing, but he knows me pretty good. And but I didn't think that he would sink as low as he would to say the things that he did in a public on-air hangout. A private hangout is one thing, but public hangout, you know, it's like I've been knowing Bunto for 18 months or whatever. I wouldn't talk shit about him in a certain way, about his personal things. For instance, his family life or his past. I wouldn't say that kind of low-down shit.
Unrequited love for fatty kids.
So
yeah,
Brother John has
he kind of stooped a little bit. He stooped a little bit, and he blocked me, and then taunted.
Oh God!
And said shit, said personal shit. He said personal shit to other people, which I consider a breach of trust. A little bit, you know.
Well, there's not a little bit of a breach of trust. There's a huge breach of trust, or there's no breach of trust.
Okay, well, it was a breach of trust. You know, I mean, he didn't like call and SWAT team me or anything. You know, I ain't got swatted, but he did in pain. He ranted about me, about personal things, and outed me about, you know, about me and my wife separated not long ago, and that's a personal thing, private thing. And he's fucking.
Why did he bring that up?
Beg your pardon?
I said, why did he bring that up?
I think out of pain and out of, because he's enraged at me a little bit, you know. But that's some personal shit, man. I don't talk about his personal shit, and I know personal shit. And so it tempts me to get in a pissing match with him, you know. And I don't want that. Fuck that shit. And so what? He says he'll go New York on me. Fuck, man. I've been fucking gone New York on before. What are you gonna do? Fuck me up? You can come and fuck me up the ass or cut off the testicle of my nephew or something? What are you gonna do? So part of me is tempted to really punk him like a pussy bitch.
Wow.
But that ain't good. You know, what good is that to subjugate someone or humiliate them? I like him. I love him a little bit, you know? In my little St. Tommy way, I have affection for him, and I don't want to fucking go there. But goddamn, man. You know, get a little fucking, you know.
When did this happen? Yesterday?
It's been a couple of days. But, you know, even now, though, I propagate it by being a little butthurt about it, talking shit about it. But yesterday's kind of pissed me off, you know. Mark Seidel, he says, "You're fucked up, St. Tommy," and rage quits, and then damn Bro Joe, like, well, I'll go to New York on your ass. You know? Mentally. I was like, come on, man, please, sir. Who are you, Neo? You know? Yeah.
Neo.
But, so, anyway, I guess it'll be a couple of weeks and everything will be all healed up, lovey-dovey.
If you talk it out, yes, it's not going to just disappear and dissipate into the.
Try and talk it out, but he's got to be a little punk bitch about things, you know. He wants to
try again. That's the way it is.
Look, it is obvious that I am not the most mentally healthy rascal that ever floated into G+. You know, but you know, am I going Beasley? Am I going Beasley on everybody? Maybe.
No. It's a spectrum.
God damn it. I'm just a little amped up, you know. Yeah, I got a little psychosis
going. What is it that you differ on, though? I still don't understand.
Beg your pardon?
I don't understand the difference. What is the difference in what?
He's known me for fucking 2 years. Ain't a dime's worth of difference between now and the first day I rolled up in this place.
Other than the fact that you're both theists, which means that you should see eye to eye on most things. What is it I don't see what's rocking the boat.
Well, I don't either. I think he's jealous. That's what I think. Jealous. Plus, I am a kind of a schmuck sometimes. I mean, I just am. I hate that.
Yeah, but you're not the only one. You're not the only one on the planet. So why specifically you?
Well, I've diddled him in a way he don't like, because he seems to be a little deeply, you know, not butthurt, but deeply
disturbed,
irritated, you know.
Well, did you say something about his family? Well, then I don't know.
I ain't talked about his personal crap or, you know, I did say in a post, you know, I used the word mealy mouth, sissy, fucking faggish kind of fucking dingleberry, mealy mouth minded, you know, come on out of your fucking behind that block thing, you know. So I pasted on some adjectives, but I didn't call him names.
Okay, you think that's not provocative though?
But yeah, that's pretty provocative.
Yeah.
It was
the Israelis saying, is that provocative? Come on.
You know, I meant it. You know, if you go sit over there acting like a little sissy.
Wow.
You know, I didn't mean to call him.
That's like how I talk to kids.
I know, kind of sharp, ain't it? You know, I don't care. You know, I don't care if John doesn't like me. That's understandable. I don't even like me about half the time. But for him, he's a little bit low, man, mentioning my personal and private shit to other people. Gets on my nerves a little bit. You know, chill the fuck out, man, if you're going to paint me as...
Maybe he'll apologize later.
He called me, you know, get help, St. Tommy, get help. You're desperately sick. No shit. Okay, I've been psychotic for a long time, bro. You know, come on, man. Ease up on me. But anyway, yeah, maybe he'll loosen up, man. If he grows up a little bit, his balls drop a little bit, he'll be all right.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, you children, I'll tell you something.
I know, fucking dramatic. I'm too old to get entangled in this shit. I'm part of the geriatric gang, right? Used to be. Yeah.
Sure you are.
Bunch of drama.
It's the way they kick off the fall season, November.
Yeah,
no Rob Beasley, so they're going to use the St. Tommy gambit.
Hell, I'll belly up, you know. I'll go Beasley. Hell yeah. Benny.
No.
Rob's house. Whoops.
So did you guys go to Brojo's Halloween party?
I wasn't there.
How'd it go?
Did you go?
No, I just freaking ducked out.
It was pretty good. I almost went as Rasputin.
Did anybody watch it at least?
I watched
haven't watched it.
Who won? Michael Ann was there, and Pat and Deidre.
Pat.
Pat. I know Pat was great. He was. And who else was there? A couple more people came in. Green Souls, Sleeves. Yeah. Frank.
I was holding a hangout that literally scared everybody away.
Did it?
No.
Well, how did you do that?
Nobody came in.
Well,
what I did, I was watching an online courtroom proceeding at a very high level, you know, governments and political parties suing each other and stuff. In South Africa. It was filmed. It was being streamed live. So I was watching that.
Riveting.
I loved it. I loved every second of it because of I have a history. I have a connection to the country, right? But anybody else watching it, what the fuck?
It sounds mind-numbing unless you're into it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, it was funny.
Well, I appreciate your hospitality and community leadership lately, Sydney. You know, I find this one of the few places that I can come without immediately getting a fire hose put on me.
Yeah, this place is always going to be, unless my computer switched off or whatever. If you have the link to this chat room and if you've bookmarked it and you click on it, it'll open. So this is the permanent link.
Thank you. I'll try not to pee. Spray my spray everywhere. And just dismiss me. Say, Tommy, I've had enough of you today.
Don't go feline on me.
I hear you. If it when it gets too thick or something, just tell me, chill the fuck out. I'll leave. Just dismiss me. It's all right.
I can't. It's not that.
Oh, really?
This is the new form hangout where I have no control over anybody.
I see.
The only thing
your word has power to me.
That's not quite true. That's not quite true. I tell you what I do have control of. I have control of your volume. coming through.
Stop masturbating, Cindy.
Coming through to me, right? So if your volume doesn't come through to me, it's not going to be broadcast on the Hangout on the stream.
Oh, I see.
Simple as that.
Yeah, hey, Bunto, do a St. Tommy Brojo intervention.
Hey, there's an idea.
Oh, man, come on, man. Nauseating. I'd be up for it, though. Let the healing begin, Bunto.
And let's do it. Yes, let's do it so the community can learn.
Yes, I'll come clean about my Ritalin ingestion and masturbating. Maybe everything.
He was projecting his displeasure with me upon you, Tommy. You ever think of that? Maybe he was just pretending you were me and just projecting on you.
I don't know, you know. He's blameless. On one hand, he's blameless. You know, if I look at it like this: if somebody gets on my nerves, I'm blameless. And if I get on somebody else's nerves, they're blameless, you know. So on one hand, his little distastefulness for me, or his distasteful emotions, it happens, you know. But goddamn, man, if you're suffering with envy, be aware of it and don't fucking paint your neighbor, your former tight associate, as a fucking monster. You know, don't be painting me as a monster. It's kind of fucking low, you know. Come on, bro, Joe.
Shit happens.
That's pretty damn low.
It ain't nothing I ain't done, probably.
So, St. Tommy, come on, man.
I could be, yeah.
Let's just settle this. Get in here, bro, Joe, and let's just.
He won't do it. He fucking threatened me yesterday. I feel fucking stupid for even bothering with him. We were talking about it, you know. If I were more mature, I just wouldn't think about it, you know, and all that shit. But now I'm the stupid one. You know, he fucking says he'll go to New York on me. If he knew that others have gone to New York on me and that threat fucking does not feel good, he wouldn't have said that shit.
I'm going to go damning New Mexico on you.
Damn right. Not only that, man, people who have gone to New York on people, they don't say that shit.
I'm going to go Prescott, Arizona on your ass.
Oh, fuck shit. Don't threaten me, Bunto. You're scaring me, man. I'm sorry.
I'm going to go Boise, Idaho on that.
Boise.
2 years, man.
That's nasty. That's got a Mormon bitch.
You better watch out because Bunto will go Austin, Texas on you. Ha!
Yeah, man.
Better put a cork in your butt.
The most pure, I'm going to go Peoria, Illinois on you.
Pine Tops. I'm going to go Pine Tops.
Actually, where's Donald Trump speaking today? I'm going to go
where does Patrick
Jacksonville,
live?
Florida on you.
I think he lives somewhere in like New York or something.
He lives in New Jersey. What's it called?
Trenton.
Joe's Dock, New Jersey. I'm going to go Passaic, New Jersey on that.
Oh, yeah. Peoria on the way. I didn't know what that meant. When he said, I'll go to New York on you, I figure it meant I will get real shitty with you.
Brojo said he may join later, and we don't accept later. We accept now.
Tell him St. Tommy's frightened about his going to New York on me.
New York means you have to drive east to west or north south either way without getting honked at.
It ain't going to help.
It ain't going to happen.
Yeah, I'm scared. I'm scared. Brojo's done gone New York on me, man.
Can somebody drive that island without getting honked at?
Oh, in New York? Shit.
Bob, they just honked to say hi, right?
Did you drive there?
Hell yeah, I drove into New York, man, when I first got there.
Did you come through the Holland Tunnel?
Yeah, I think I came through Jersey. Right, so I must have went through the Holland Tunnel. Or the Lincoln Tunnel. Which is the one through Jersey?
The Holland Tunnel comes from Jersey. You can come over a bridge or two, but I always came in on the southern end on Canal Street.
I was fucking nailed, dude, but I drove all the way Midtown, man. Isn't that insane? A hick like me driving in.
I know, man. Hey, man, you just fucking got to gank it, man. When that light turns green, go, man.
I know. You know, it's so funny. Here in Texas, it's like the light turns green and you're waiting there. And in New York, you know, as soon as that light turns green, it would have been.
Oh, yeah, man. They're going to blow the horn, man. When the light turns green, it's me.
I'm gonna go New York on your
And parking, man, people nudge.
I know.
Boom, 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 boom. Fucking move that car a little bit.
I know, really, man. Holy shit.
These new plastic cars, they have a hard time. Back when there was like a 5-mile-an-hour bumper, you know.
Right.
Now it's like, you see cars, they're fucked up, man, just for parking and shit, man. People just like,
that shit.
It's a trip.
Oh, yeah, he'll get over it.
I used to leave my car unlocked.
Wow.
Yeah, so the window wouldn't get busted, you know. I had an AM radio.
I know, right? I don't want the window busted, right?
Yeah, just leave the fucking thing unlocked. Nobody gives a shit. It was a 79 Dodge Aspen, you know. It wasn't a whole hell of a lot of people interested in that fucking thing with the slant six in it, you know, kind of ratty looking. It was like, yeah. They had bigger fish to fuck with.
So was it a live hangout?
This one?
No, the one that Brojo went on.
No, he didn't say, I'll go to New York when you asked. It was just him and me. Mark Seidel had already rage quit. So it goes.
Yeah.
But it tempts me to pride, to pride. To make a big stink about it. Fucking.
Yeah. Well, guys, I got to duck out because I got to caretake. I'll see you guys in a bit. Take
All
care.
right, catch you later, Bunto. Thank you for your therapy. Free therapy.
So he said he might come in a while.
He's just scared like a little girl. He'll be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Him and me are having a little bra snatch. Like a couple of little girls.
Got it.
Oh, well. How's your day going, Seaman?
It's very early. It's going very well so far. Thank you very much.
It's about noon time here. What time is it there?
Approaching 10 a.m.